G'day everyone, Mitch here from Rapala VMC Australia. We've got Jason Didio, our Rapala Pro Staffer, and we're talking all things Flathead on bait, particularly VMC Hooks. Jace, thanks for coming on, mate.
Yeah, no worries at all, Mitch. Glad to be back.
Yeah, back, mate. The last time we had you with a brim, mate. Now this segment we're all talking about Flathead, mate, and I know you've got a fair bit of experience with flatties down your area, mate.
Yeah. So down on the mid-north coast, we're pretty gifted down there. So, keen to get into it.
Yeah, no, well, let's kick it off, mate. So, targeting flathead, what's sort of before we dive into hooks and stuff, what's your sort of primary baits that you mainly like to use for flathead?
So mainly live bait for myself, live herring, live potty mullet. But then if I'm to venture off and start using dead baits, strip mullet. I should talk into the live bait more. Yabbies, live yabbies. If you can get live prawns, also really good.
Yep.
But for the dead bait, strip mullet. Like prawns and pilchards, all that type of stuff. Big variety. Whitebait's another big one for fishing along breakwalls and that type of stuff. You get decent sized whitebait, always go well.
Yeah, right, okay. Yep. So like sort of having variance between live bait if you're able to get it and then just your dead baits and stuff like that. That's pretty readily available in most stores and stuff like that.
Exactly, yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Okay, cool. No, well, it sort of gives a bit of an idea of the baits and stuff. So they're not sort of too fussy. A wide range of between your crustaceans or your fish flesh or liveys. They'll eat it all.
Exactly, mate. They'll eat it all.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's handy for a lot of people. So mate, when we're just dive a bit more into with the hooks and stuff. So like, if you want to find a couple of categories that you're really confident with flathead, what's the sort of VMC hooks that you mainly use, mate? On the baits.
So I like my suicide octopus hooks mainly. Like that's primarily my favourite go-to hook.
Yep.
Although if I'm venturing out into using the yabbies or prawns or something like that, I don't mind running the long shank hook or the bent worm hook, something like a little bit longer in length, a little bit thinner profile. Seems to match that style of bait a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
Again, if you're fishing off the beach, it's a good thing. Run a set of gangs with a pilchard, fishing them gutters and stuff like that. You never know. You might get tail to come through and certainly still get a good hookup rate on the flathead as well.
Yeah, right, okay. Yeah. So that's something that probably not a lot of people really use for flathead is gang hooks. But yeah, like good as it, particularly your longer baits, just that presentation using your VMC gang hooks, particularly with swivels, just how they float in the water and how they drift down on the bottom and stuff.
Exactly right. And you get an unweighted, nice strip of mullet, drift that down into the current over the edge of the sand flats where it drops off. Then gang hooks really go well on them longer strip baits as well, and the flathead just absolutely come up and nail it. So definitely don't rule out gang hooks when it comes to flathead, that's for sure.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Do you use many circle hooks for flathead?
Personally, no, Mitch. I haven't really specifically targeted flathead on circles. I've got them bycatch fishing for brim.
Yep.
But me personally, I'm more of a octopus style hook guy when I'm targeting flathead. That's for sure.
Yep. And you're mainly just running black nickel hooks, mate? You don't go between tin red and black nickel and perm
I've used them all. I've used the tin reds, and mate, there's no difference. You'll catch fish on all, so don't be afraid. My just personal favourite's black nickel. I just stick with that, but the tin red, they all work.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, nice. No, that's good, mate. It's handy to sort of know sort of all the different hook styles for each bait because each hook style has a purpose for the certain baits that you're using to target flathead.
Yeah, 100%. It all comes down to presentation in the water. That's what I bring it down to.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, mate, now speaking about presentation, I think that we should then carry on to, what's the best way when you're sort of targeting flathead? What are you sort of looking for before you even cast your bait out?
Structure is definitely a big thing. If you can find some type of structure, whether it be a sandy drop-off, rock walls, tree in the water, pylons, jetties, anywhere where that bait's going to hold up, that's where your predatory fish are going to sit right on the edge. So, you got to have some form of structure, no matter where you're fishing. That's for sure. Don't just fish out in the open. Try and find something.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. And you usually find, Jason, that you get a lot more flathead concentrated. Like if you do find a bit of structure like a drop off or a jetty, there'll be numerous flathead around.
100%. Yeah,
Yeah,
guaranteed.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
like if you're fishing that open area, just in the middle of nowhere, and there's nothing there to hold bait, you will stumble across the odd one. But like
Mhm.
if you're fishing around a jetty or rock wall, somewhere that's predominantly going to hold that bait area, you'll get more of a congregation of fish. That's for sure.
Yeah, righto. Okay. And so with the different areas, is there like certain areas where you'll use certain baits? Like would you use a jetty on your jetties or your sand drop offs and stuff like that? Does that sort of give you an idea of what bait to use?
Yeah. So again, in the river, if I'm fishing the upper reaches, especially in my area, we get a lot of herring in the upper reaches of the river. I'll
Yep.
tend to use a lot more herring up there, like live herring, dead or alive, than what I would use in mullet.
Yep.
Like I certainly wouldn't go down to the bottom end of the river and pump yabbies and take them back up there, specifically targeting flathead either. So you
Mhm.
kind of have a bit of an idea on what bait and you know what they're feeding on in that area. Will definitely give you a lot better chance at catching that fish. That's for sure.
Yeah, right. Okay, cool. No, that's good to know, mate. Mate, what's three of your experiences of targeting flathead? What's sort of three sort of tips that you'd give a lot of beginners that are going out, chasing flathead for the first time? What's three tips that you'd sort of give those people to sort of before they get in the water get a bit of an idea of how to target flathead and what you sort of seen over the years?
Yeah, so just kind of more look look where you're fishing. Really pay attention to your rigs. I don't like running a sinker straight, especially if you're using a live bait. Don't run a sinker straight to the hook because that sinker will bury your livey into the ground. It won't
Okay.
let him go free. So run and ball sinker to a swivel. Give yourself a 30-meter trace and let that livey, even dead bait, because what a dead bait will do running a rig like that, it'll let it drift around in the current
Yep.
and flathead will come up underneath that bait, and that's how they'll attack from underneath. So I'm definitely not a believer on having that bait sitting solid on the ground. That's probably the best tip that I can give somebody. That's for
Mhm.
sure.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
and I like, especially over sandy drop offs. If you're going to do there, again, little to no weight, I'm more than happy just to throw a yabby out and let it drift off, especially if you've got a run out tide coming off the flats, and let that natural yabby just go over and they'll come up and eat it off there. Bobby cork's another good one.
Okay.
Just drifting your live baits down under a bobby cork with no weight on it. I caught multiple big flathead doing that.
Yeah, righto. So they're not afraid to come up and eat your baits up a bit off the bottom.
Definitely not. I've seen flathead come up and eat a bait off the surface in 2 meters of water.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, it's definitely not uncommon.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, righto. What's your second tip, mate?
Oh, look, good
Could be
hook,
anything.
good.
Could be like tides or anything like that, mate. Like, have you
Yeah, look,
any
you
factors
got
like
to
that?
different areas, different tides. So
Yep.
depending on where you're trying to fish and what time of day. Personally, if I was to target flathead, I'd be more looking on a run out tide, fishing the drop offs. So if
Yep.
you've got a nice big sandy gravel bank or sand bank or mud bank, fish them drop offs. The entrances of little creeks on the outgoing tide, fish the entrances of the creeks so that the predatory fish are sitting there waiting for them to come out. So run out tide seems to be the go-to for me when it comes to chasing flathead, especially on them drop-offs.
Yep.
Yeah, and third one, um, pressure systems. I like to fish a high and a rising barometer.
Okay.
So
Yep.
when it comes to weather, and this will go for nearly all fish, mate. Nearly all of my fishing's done off the barometer. I don't like fishing a dead set low, steady barometer.
Yep.
If it's rising or it's high, like anything from 1,015 and above, you'll have your best chance, I reckon.
Yeah. Righto. Okay. Yep. Oh, there you go, mate. Just real
That's
quick before we finish it up, what's something that you'd sort of find like when you're trying to target some big flathead? What's something that you've noticed with big flathead behaviour that you can be able to target those big girls?
good size live bait.
Yep.
Definitely, if you want to get a big flathead, live bait I would definitely put the time in to try and go and catch yourself some potty mullet live herring. Another thing I should have put in my tips is if you've got no tide, if you're fishing in an area that there's not much run, put your live bait on, hook him in the back so he's swimming away, especially if you've got him under a bobby cork. If you're fishing in current, make sure you hook that front haul. It's got to be through the nose. So he's in swimming into the tide. You're not going to drown that bait. Otherwise, it's going to sit down in the current doing helicopters.
Yeah, right.
So,
Okay.
yeah, that's
Yep.
another good point I should have brought up before, but I just thought about it then.
That's all good. At least you brought it up in
but
the
yeah,
video, mate. So no, it's good. No, awesome, mate. No, I think that's pretty much. I reckon that's pretty much everything for this segment. I really appreciate you coming on and sort of showing a bit of insight and all your tips and that to target Flathead over the years, mate. Really do appreciate it.
not a problem at all. Yeah, just don't overcomplicate things, guys. Just keep it simple. Don't hold your baits on the bottom. Use good quality terminal tackle too. You know, you hook that fish of a lifetime. You don't want your gear letting you down. So stick
Yeah.
into the VMC hooks, swivels, something that you know's got plenty of years behind them and strength, and you won't go wrong.
Yep. That sounds good, mate. No, I appreciate your time, Jace. Thanks, mate. Thanks for
All right,
coming
Nick.
on. And I'll catch you guys next time.
Not a problem at all. Take it easy. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.